Okay, gonna do a little sharpen on this chain here. Got my fancy camera stand, and I usually support the cutter bar, so when I'm sharpening it doesn't continuously do that and make me want to get rid of it. This way it works like that. So what I want you to see here, if I can see that, is, should be able to see that, I guess. So of course you can only do one side at a time. You can't do this side right now. We have to turn the bar around to do these teeth. This one, this one, this one, and this one. So we have to do the teeth away from us. We're filing this way, away from us, at the tooth furthest from us. So this one, this one, this one, this one. And you just can lift your bar a bit, pull your chain to facilitate the next sharpening. For ripping, on a standard chain, it can be anywhere from 30 to 40 degrees or so, give or take. Ripping is about 10 degrees, and 10 degrees up. Now I'm exaggerating, that's more than 10 degrees, and that's more than 10 degrees. But, so the little line that's on here is at about 30 or 35 degrees. Little marker lines that are on the chain. If you can see that line right there. Okay, that's the a guideline to more or less help you freehand sharpen, because I don't use electric sharpener or a guide. Not usually. Electric sharpeners, as far as I'm concerned, are usually junk. I did use a good one years ago, but I don't like them. And if the disc change shape or explode or whatever, they don't do rakers. Some of them do, I think. I guess the newer ones, but anyway, I prefer these. And the mechanical ones that go on here are just pain in the arse, as far as I can tell. So I guess I learned this way, so this is the way I do it. If you need to use a mechanical device, fine. But I get used to doing it freehand for when you're stuck and you have to. So you push away from you. You're at 10 degrees to 10 degrees off 90. Okay, from the bar, or from perpendicular with the bar, and you're 10 degrees up. So it's about at this angle here, give or take a half a degree. And if you've seen the tooth sharpen enough times, you'll know what you're looking for. So that tooth is fairly sharp in there now. You can see that I've ground down to the bottom of the tooth as much. Keep this bottom of your tooth flat. You can see this tooth has been filed back a bit for you guys who've done lots of this, and the tooth started way up here, and this was a regular chain that I turned into a ripping chain. And if you don't keep it down, you don't get the right curve on your tooth. So keep your tooth down at this level point. If you scratch the chain, don't worry about it. And 10 degrees down, 10 degrees up, and you'll end up with a tooth that sort of resembles that. Okay? Now, with the chipping teeth, where I've cut off half the tooth, and a lot of guys will get in here with calipers and measuring devices and everything. I just take a grinder and more or less line it up with the raker in front, chick, 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 with the ones I'm going to cut. And that's it. The wood doesn't seem to mind about such precision. I've done it, damn near laser guided, and never cut any faster than just eyeballing it. So, as long as you got the rough, and this tooth was off quite a bit, must have hit something. So you can see I'm keeping it down, just to give you an idea here what I'm talking about. This shiny part along the bottom. Keep it down so you get this little curve in your tooth, so it acts like a tooth instead of because you can file this right up straight if you start to raise up, right? And 10 degrees. There we go. And so when you end up with a tooth, that one might be 11 degrees, but it'll do just fine. As sharp as you're going to sharpen them, or as much time as you're going to spend on them, remember that you're not going to get more than an extra board out of it, regardless, as long as you're close. And if you do a piss poor job sharpening it, then expect to burn a lot more gas and take a lot more time to cut your wood. But now it's important that you, as you do this, that you check your rakers. That tooth is getting a little low. Take it easy on that one. We like to try and keep our teeth even, but anyway, as careful as you are cutting or sharpening your saw, it's only going to be as sharp as the last nail you hit or the last piece of bark you went through. So we're still good on the rakers. So get it good, get some good cuts out of it. By the time you cut through a little bit of bark, your cut's going to be off anyway, because you're going to be cutting through rocks, especially in the old pine like I'm cutting through there now, and cedar in particular, pretty bad for it. So take after every log or so, if you got a big logs like I'm showing you guys there now, which is big logs for a chainsaw mill, then expect to pull your chain off every 15 boards or so, and pull your saw off, don't pull your chain off, and give it a touch up. It takes a bit of time, but these are actually quite dull. I've only sawed maybe 14 boards with it. Actually, these boards right here that we're working on were sawed yesterday out of that stuff, this chainsaw mill. So expect to take it off every so often, if for no other reason than to make sure you're getting the best fuel economy, because a chainsaw mill that's not working properly, or with the chain dull, can go through a pile of gas for nothing and have nothing done. I'm sure there's lots of you guys out there that are using chainsaw mills that have run into this, and you're burning through gas like crazy, and there's no boards being produced. And this saw here I'm using for this today is the smallest saw you want to use for what I'm doing. It's a 60cc saw. The saw's a little older, still runs well, but she's working. Okay, that's that side, I guess. But she's working there now to do what she has to do. Now we just flip this around and see if I can move my little boards. And do we have a good angle? Yeah, pretty good. And so, well, we're gonna go from this side, so I guess we gotta go this way. And so, ooh, a couple of them were pretty bad. That one there was, no wonder she wasn't cutting. Must have hit something, must have hit a rock or something, or in the wood. They're not, they're actually turned back the other way. So yeah, so get used to doing this freehand. Most guys will complain it's a little harder to do it left-handed than right-handed. I prefer to do the other side I just did than this side I'm doing now, the left side. Probably because I'm right-handed. Now, all I got to do is be careful that I don't grind one side more than the other, because if you grind this tooth shorter than this tooth, the saw will tend to pull that way, and if you do it the other way, it'll pull this way. Or did I just get that reversed? But it'll turn anyway, and it won't cut straight. So try and keep your teeth. Now, if you got the odd one that's a little shorter or something like that, don't worry about it. But overall, just make sure that your check depth. They're good. So make sure that you're staying fairly close to the same length of each tooth, the actual length of the tooth. So from the back of the tooth to the point. Otherwise, your saw will want to cut an arc, and arcs are really annoying in lumber, especially. They're hard enough when you're cutting a big butt of a tree, and you can arc it bad enough that your saw will only want to cut circles. So just be aware of that. Don't let that happen. Okay. This tooth is damaged a bit. There we go. That'll do. I don't want to take it back too much. A little damage on it. Mostly cleaned up. Must have hit something there. Could even be an old nail in the tree sometimes. You never know. This could have been some kind of fencing here 100 years ago. I could have hit a rusty nail, because by the look of these teeth, I hit something more than a rock. I got 4 or 5 teeth here damaged pretty good. And she went from cutting half decent to burning the wood in just a half a pass. So this tooth here has actually got a little nick out of it. So bandsaw mill, circular saw, chainsaw, no sawmill likes metal. They're made for wood, and that's it. So quite frankly, as expensive as it is, at least with the bandsaw mill, you just swap out the blades fast and just do them later on that night with your sharpener at home. You're not using something like this. They're quite convenient. I got the Champion coming next week, SMG Champion, and we'll be doing some videos on that as well. Some of these teeth have gone backwards 10 degrees. They really hit something. And there, we're done again. So that's a sharpening of a 20-inch, or is this 22-inch? I think actually this is I can't tell. I might be missing a couple inches. Can't remember on this bar. This bar is 20-inch, I think. And cutter bar. And that's how it's done with a file. There's a crappy handle, but it works. I like a little bit bigger one. This one you just jam it in there, and they come out pretty easy actually. You would think they would be hard to get apart, but they hold fairly well. They work pretty good. It's just a little small, but that's how it's sharpened. So we'll go attach this here now. I've got the plate removed from that's the other thing for the Norwood. In order to sharpen, I should show you this. The plate that attaches it to the mill attaches here. Of course, your regular chain nuts are gone. They've replaced them with these adapters, and this plate goes on here, adapter plate, that where your keyholes are to slide onto your carriage. So with this on here, if you're using this PM14, if this is bolted on here, sharpening this saw is a pain in the butt. Don't even attempt it. The saw wants to sit up like this, or it wants to tip over, so just take it off. It's 2 bolts, and it's not worth the aggravation. We'll get this hooked back up and see if we can't do some sawing after I finish coffee and have a draw.